Okay, back with you now, about 15 minutes past the hour. Tuesday was a big night for Democrats, picking up key wins in a number of different states, all of them with one common theme, and that theme was abortion rights.
So let's get right to our NewsNation newsmakers, Robert Patillo, Colby Hall, Steve Krakauer. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. I want to start with you, Steve. In terms of Republicans really needing to push the issue of abortion bans with very few restrictions, is the GOP missing an opportunity to get more done by being so strict, even though this is a foundational issue for the party?
Yeah, it's one to watch. I mean, this is now two consecutive election cycles where we've seen abortion as something that not just the American people have continued to vote in state after state to support in some capacity abortion rights. But we've seen it really help turnout for the Democrats, hurt turnout for the GOP potentially. So yeah, I think it's something that the Republicans need to really be paying attention to. And I do think it's something that it's very, there's not a clear path here for Republicans. I mean, there was Dobbs overturned. They got that done. It goes back to the states. Why now is there's this giant push? Well, if the last night was any indication, maybe they need to go a different direction, because I think that it's a losing argument for the GOP right now.
Yeah. Robert, what say you on this? It was obviously a big night for Democrats. Ohio voting to enshrine it into their constitution. More than 56% of people said that they supported the practice. And we know the majority of Americans support the practice, either always or with some circumstances. So how do Republicans respond to this? And what were your big takeaways?
Well, I think the big takeaway is that people should stop paying so much attention to these national polls that come out a year before election cycles. That the poll actually happens on election day when people get the opportunity to vote. And regardless of the polls showing Trump having a 5-point lead over Biden and leading in swing states, when it gets down to election day, people vote on local issues and on kitchen table issues. And Republicans, in large part, have abdicated that area. They've become part of this extreme right-wing media apparatus, and they think that just talking about Hunter Biden's laptop and other right-wing conspiracy theories is the way to victory, when we see that people care about what affects them directly, and women are not willing to give over their rights to the government and have to ask permission to make decisions about their bodies. And Republicans are going to have to come to a position that is updated and that works with the way the American electorate works today.
Yeah, I still think that there are a lot of people within the country who are very passionate about choosing elected leaders who will speak for them. And there are tons of Americans who are pro-life. I mean, this is a surgery, and the argument still, Colby, has to be made that the conversation has to move forward, because we can't just ignore nearly half the country who is pro-life.
Well, the bellwether for this, it's not a surprising result, because we saw this in 2022 in Kansas. Basically, 60-40 went for reproductive rights. It was similar numbers in Ohio. I spoke to a political scientist in Kansas after that result. He said this is not as surprising. If you poll people, roughly 40% are sort of pro-choice and 60% were pro-Roe v. Wade. So, and that's pretty close to what we saw in Ohio. I will say there's one other thing that really sort of helped this in Ohio, and that was there was also legalization of marijuana on the ballot. So that also really got out a younger vote. So, yeah, I think the Republicans are going to need to pivot on this and recognize, where to go from it if they want to do better in future elections.
Yeah, we know people are showing up in droves for early voting on this issue alone. Robert, you had brought up kitchen table issues. Let's talk about the kitchen table, though, because it turns out nobody's sitting around it anymore. Let's talk about drive-thrus this morning. Let's pivot to topic 2 if we can. Drive-through traffic is now up 30% since the year 2019. Eating fast food inside of a restaurant, that's down 47%. Restaurants cutting indoor space to expand drive-thrus. There's something tells me that this isn't just about I love the #1 with cheese. This is about, it smells pandemic-y to me, and I like my personal space and my personal bubble. Colby, what do you think?
Yeah, it was kind of dystopian. I was a little sad reading this, because I think there's a youth culture here, but a big theme.
I think a lot of old Gen Xers and beyond are in the drive-thrus too. I don't know if this is the young component.
Well, no, I am as well. But what I'm trying to say is that I think there's a lot of people, what came out of that article that was that people liked being isolated. They didn't want to interact with people. They wanted to be alone.
That's sad.
I don't know if that's a result of social media, but yeah, I think younger people are younger generations are a lot more content not having human interaction, and that saddens me a little bit. And
Yeah,
I think that came as a result of the pandemic.
Social distancing more than social media. I mean, really, the safer at home practices. Robert, what do you think? Are you in the drive-through a lot more?
I don't eat a lot of fast food for that exact reason, but I think for younger people in particular, their social networks and the people they want to hang out with are on social media. We have seen the rise of internet food reviewers, people like Mr. Chime Time, Keith Lee, Dame Drops, where they do food reviews from their cars. So people will sit in their car and eat. They're not eating alone. They're just live streaming and having video chats with their friends, with their audience. They're on Instagram Live, they're on TikTok, etc. So it's not that they want to be alone. They're just going to pick the people they want to be around. And we're seeing fast food restaurants in the industry now that they have to pay a living wage to workers. They're converting most of the restaurants to having kiosks and ordering from apps because they don't want you sitting inside, because that's more staff they have to clean up those areas. They want you eating in your car so they can save more money.
You know what? We're not bringing up the fact that we're all busier. The fact is time is of the essence right now, right, Steve?
Steve, where are you frequenting?
I enjoy some Popeyes every now and then, I'd say. Yeah. Listen, obviously the pandemic is a key factor here, and I do think it cuts across generations. Sure, younger people is one, and we see the rise in loneliness in younger people. But I think that there's something. I've got this theory. I know long COVID has been this topic. I think the real long COVID is the way it's made people almost like they can't interact in real life with people. There's something that's missing in a lot of people that they never were able to recover from the lockdowns 2020, 2021. And this is a symptom of that. I think people are either scared or they're uncomfortable around actual people. And that's really disturbing to me. They can't even go park the car and go inside and go and get something because that involves actually talking to someone. It's like pretty soon we're all going to be wearing the metaverse glasses and just kind of getting delivery and never interacting. That's going to be really sad.
Eye contact is also way off. I mean, I feel like that is down. I do. Yeah.
Like at the store, at the drive-thru?
With people in general, not even just at the drive-thru, just in society in general. I feel like there's no eye contact, no handshaking anymore. No, you know.
Yeah, that went out 3 years ago. You have to fist bump now. But I think that a lot of people are at their breaking point. They're just quietly at their breaking point. You know, we have people who went from a remote work environment to back in the office. And frankly, I think a lot of people are freaking out. They're just not talking about it, except for with their therapist. Let's talk about the sexiest man alive. That's a little therapy for us, right?
And let's listen to this first.
Our first guest tonight is one of the founding members of the Handsome Men's Club, going all the way back to 2010. Now he has risen to the top of Sexy Mountain. Please welcome people's sexiest man alive, Mr. Patrick Dempsey.
Where is Sexy Mountain? I don't know. Got to go visit, though. Patrick Dempsey of Grey's Anatomy fame named People magazine's sexiest man alive. He's 57 years old. Sean Connery has the record of oldest sexiest man at age 59. So, Colby, let's start with you again. Did you agree with this? Was he your #1 vote as well?
Colby, we know you were the runner-up.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed, but I gotta say, like, shout out to a fellow 57-year-old who still got it. So like,
he's
you know, as 55. Yeah, so I mean, it gives me, my dream is still alive.
That's 57 is not old. Somebody here in our newsroom said he's an old guy, and I said 57's not old. That's like prime time. That's like the sweet spot for a man.
57 is the new 27, right?
Yes.
57 is the new 27. There we go.
I think so too. Robert, did you like this vote?
I mean, it's so weird having this conversation with a bunch of men. I'm like,
I don't think so. We can all acknowledge.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I have no idea who this man is.
Thank you. I'm like, what are we doing?
I have no concept of him. He looks like the guy on the Cialis commercials. I don't know who the guy is.
Did you just say he looks like the guy in the Cialis commercial?
I'm gone.
And also,
drop the mic.
I had to check before this segment. Is Idris Elba okay? Is he still alive? Because I feel like as long as he still draws breath,
I think he's more than okay.
I think as long as he's breathing, he's the emeritus title holder.
Okay, even though he's British. Steve.
Yeah, I just love how progressive it is that yes, you're asking this panel of these three men what we think of people's sexiest man alive, and I will represent the feminist here and say, would a magazine like this put a 57-year-old woman on the cover? I don't know. I think that it's you know, men get this longer runway here when it comes to fame and magazine covers. I don't know if I support that. So I don't know if I
wonder.
I don't see the
I wonder if one day in our culture, Colby, I want to hear from you. Are we going to say that this is inappropriate?
They're objectifying Patrick Dempsey. I don't think that he's a smart guy. It's not just looks. It's, there's a political, no, I'm joking. I think it's a fun way, and it's good for people to do this thing because it gets us talking about People magazine, which I think is the goal.
Yeah. Wow.
So good stuff.
Definitely.
Well, gentlemen, I think we have some headshots of panelists that were.
wow.
Okay, where are these from?
Wow.
I'm loving this.
Are these the
that's a better
hottest newsmakers alive? We're going to say that. I feel more comfortable
There we
saying
go.
that, referring to
I
y'all.
vote Colby.
Hottest. That could mean a lot of
my
things.
Colby.
I'm down with it.
Well, 2024, that will be your year, gentlemen. We feel it deep in our bones.
Robert, Colby, Steve, thank you for having fun with us because that was a bit awkward, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, talk to y'all soon.